All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to decode a complete roadmap designed to turn you into an absolute master of extracting hidden insights from raw data. You know, if you've ever stared at a massive, seemingly endless spreadsheet and wondered what secrets are hiding inside all these rows and columns, well, you are exactly in the right place. We're looking at a targeted syllabus mapped out specifically to teach you the fine art of frequent pattern mining. Think of this explainer as your personal training manual to becoming a true data detective.
So, the big overarching goal for our journey today is simply this. We want to nail down the foundational knowledge of mining patterns directly from a dataset. But honestly, what does that actually mean for us? It means developing the superpower to look at chaotic, completely random-looking collections of data and spotting the recurring behaviors, those common threads, and the unspoken rules that just kind of govern everything behind the scenes. This is the bedrock knowledge you need to transform static, boring numbers into actual, actionable intelligence. Because, let's face it, without this foundation, data is just noise. But with it, your data literally becomes a crystal ball.
Here's our quick roadmap for the explainer. We've got 5 specific outcomes lined up. We'll kick things off with market basket analysis, then move on to measuring support and confidence, check out the a priori and FP growth algorithms, explore using vertical data formats, and finally, wrap up with advanced pattern mining.
All right, starting with number 1, the market basket analysis. Imagine for a second you're looking at thousands of shopping carts at a massive grocery store. Market basket analysis is basically the technique you'd use to figure out that, hey, people who buy bread also really tend to buy butter. It's all about uncovering those hidden relationships in your data. And why does this actually matter? Well, once you can apply this concept, you're not just looking at isolated individual transactions anymore. Instead, you're predicting future behavior based on connected human habits. It's absolutely a game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, Measuring Support and Confidence.
Now, let's trace this logical sequence and see how it all builds up. To measure things effectively, we follow a solid 3-step progression. Step 1, you identify the frequent item set. You know, the items that just show up together a lot. Step 2, you determine the closed item set. This is super important because it helps you compress the data without losing any juicy information, basically stripping away those redundant, repeating patterns. And finally, step 3, you generate the actual association rules. Building from that frequent item set to a closed one is what ultimately lets us generate mathematically solid rules. You're not guessing anymore, you're proving real relationships. This is exactly where we measure our rules. Support tells us how often a specific item combo actually happens out there in the real world, while confidence tells us how reliable that rule is when push comes to shove.
Let's hit Section 3, a priori and FP growth algorithms.
Okay, so now we need the heavy machinery to extract these rules quickly and efficiently. We have 2 main approaches to finding association rules in any dataset. First up, the a priori algorithm. This one's a classic. It's an iterative approach where it generates candidate sets and then scans the database over and over again. But on the flip side, we have FP growth, which stands for frequent pattern growth. This one takes a totally different route by mapping the data into a specialized tree structure, which is brilliant because it completely avoids those slow, costly, repeated database scans. Getting a grip on both of these gives you a super versatile toolkit, letting you pick the perfect engine based on the size and the complexity of whatever dataset you're digging into.
So, we've got the algorithms loaded in our toolkit, but now we've got to ask ourselves a pretty vital question. How exactly do we format the raw data to successfully find these patterns in the first place? Because let's be real, data almost never comes perfectly prepped and ready for us.
Which brings us to Section 4, using vertical data formats.
Think about the traditional horizontal format, right? That's where you look at a single transaction and see all the items inside it. Well, a vertical data format completely flips that perspective on its head. Now you look at an individual item and you see all the transaction IDs that it actually appears in. By organizing the data vertically like this, you can hunt down patterns so much faster using specialized intersection techniques. It's honestly a brilliant structural shift, and it saves an incredible amount of processing time when you're out there hunting for frequent item sets.
And finally, Section 5, advanced pattern mining.
All right, time to elevate our basic toolkit and start analyzing some really complex data. We break this down into 2 main areas. First up, we have mining multi-level association rules. This basically means looking at data from different levels of abstraction. For instance, instead of just finding a pattern with milk, you might zoom out and look higher up the hierarchy at dairy products, or maybe zoom way in on organic skim milk. The second area is mining multidimensional association rules.
This is where you bring in completely different dimensions of data, stuff like age, income, or geographic location, and you connect all of that back to the items purchased. By mastering these advanced methods, you're going to be fully equipped to analyze data on a much deeper, multidimensional theoretical level. It's the whole shebang.
As you start venturing beyond basic associations and exploring concepts like lift, I want you to remember this one thing. An association doesn't always equal a true, meaningful connection. Sometimes it's literally just a coincidence. So, as a newly minted data detective, how will you apply these advanced correlation techniques to constrain your searches, totally eliminate the background noise, and discover the absolute, unshakable truths hiding within the numbers? Keep digging, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next Explainer.